Welcome, viewers. My name is Corinthia, and this is one of my past clients, and she wanted to give a testimonial for you guys so you can learn more about who I am and what I do and how I help you. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, happy to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, and I appreciate what you're doing. I
Yeah,
would love to learn a little bit more about how my program helped you and how it transformed your life.
yeah. So we should probably start with kind of where I was last June, I think it was when I found you. So I'm 33, and by the time I found your info, I had already worked through some of the big, hairy, scary issues in life. I had a eating disorder that was really bad in my youth and early 20s, and then just drinking and a mess. So I'd really become like a functional human being, but I just felt super stuck. And I was pretty like obsessed with digestive issues that I just could not fix for I think 7 years or something, and had tried all the spiritual things and all the health things. And yeah, I think it was probably more the digestive issues and the bloating that was my real motivator, because I was so tired of it. But then also on a second level, like, what am I doing? What should I be doing? And why can't I seem to get there? So, yeah.
Well, and in June, you just found my card randomly, right? Just at a coffee shop there in Steamboat Springs. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like divine bringing you in, because I know there's a million cards out there, a million people you can look up online.
But I think it was because, I forget, I think your card said probably medical intuitive, or it mentioned like your psychic abilities and your ability to channel. And I think that's what stood out to me, because I had tried, every single self-help book in the program thing. And, that helped me to some extent. But yeah, I just always felt like I was missing
All
something.
right. So what fears about joining did you have?
I think the only fear I had was the investment of it, because it was, I had spent I think it was because I had spent so much money on other courses, like $1,000 here. I spent $6,000 on a business coaching course, because I thought, well, if I can start a business, like, then that will make me happy. Or therapy with no insurance. So Reiki, all these things. And I think I was always expecting them on some level to give me an instant, like, okay, now my digestion is better and now I can move on with my life. Or, oh, now I found my purpose and now I can be happy. And then when they didn't, I would be like, I would feel, I think, guilty that I spent so much money. And then I don't know, I would just keep searching. It was like I never sat with myself. I was always just on this self-improvement, Instagram thing. So I think that was my fear. But I also, our first call, I think I knew on some level. I think I knew on maybe a heart level, like, yeah, this is it. This is going to be fine. You're going to help me. And it was just maybe my mind chirping about the fear.
Which is absolutely happens to all of us, especially when we have to put an investment towards ourselves financially, and none of us are, just rolling in it. So that's awesome. I'm really grateful that you took that leap of faith in me as well as in yourself. And I'm
Me
really
too.
what surprised you most about my expansion exploration program that you took?
Yeah, I think it was like how easy it was to change, because all my life I've been, straight A student, perfectionistic, hard work. Like, that's how if you're the hardest worker, then you get the prize, kind of a thing. And I think that's one of the beautiful things you've taught me, that actually you were able to see, a chord or a pattern, and then we do a healing, and then you'd send me home and say, okay, this is your visualization to do. And like, And then things would shift, and it would be subtle, but over the course of, 6, 9 months now since then, like, it's all added up, and I did not really have to do anything for it. It was very simple. And I think that's been the biggest surprise. And also probably the key, because you're always telling me to have fun and stop, making myself miserable and working hard and efforting. And so I think that's probably the big surprise. Like, it really is simple to heal in some way. We just, like, almost like as our human mind can't fathom that or something.
Yeah, definitely. Our mind definitely spins off in different directions of, but you should be, and just, it drills us into the ground basically.
Yeah.
And like the
And oh, I was just going to say that I think is why the investment of working with you was really helpful, because I do think with all the studying and things I'd exposed myself to along the way, I had gotten little bits and pieces like, oh, maybe I shouldn't read so many books. Maybe I should try to listen to my intuition or something. But then my mind would take over. So it was nice to have a structure in place where you could, could come at you with mind stuff and you could remind me, oh, no, like, where's your heart in this, like, and kind of ground and stay long enough on the path of opening that up so that it could shift things. So
And did it feel good to work with me? I think we worked together about 4 months. Did it feel good to have that time to do the sessions and break them apart and really get the foundations of each thing as it built? How did that feel for you on that?
yeah, I love that. I think that was a great span um of time. And I remember you saying like that you space it out because it's too much all at once. And it is funny because after that first session, I remember it was like, whoa, like I just felt, a lot of energy and kind of like, what did I think you called it, a purge. But in a way that was helpful too, because then I was like, that gave me more faith that, we were on the right track. So
That's awesome. And that first session, if I remember right, I felt like it overwhelmed too for you because you're like, whoa, this is so much information of different techniques, different skills that you were going to have to start playing with. And
yeah,
I loved watching your evolution of you playing with those skills and getting that kind of like, oh, I get it now. Where originally
yes.
it's like, holy cow.
But I also on some level in the first session, part of me was like, wait, what do you mean self-love? Like, I want to fix my problem.
That is so awesome.
So awesome that I think, like, I just think back on the way I approach things, and it makes so much sense how you lay out things. And, you know, I don't know, people that come to you might have an idea of what they want to work on, need to work on. And I would bet a good amount of the time, like me, there's many things on top of that and underneath it and that need to be addressed. So
Yes, absolutely. I always laugh because people's like, but I want you to work on this. And I'm like, well, you kind of have to this and over here. And yeah, and then at the end we'll get there,
yeah.
It's not how it felt.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I would say my digestive issues now are I don't know, 85, 90% gone. But like, I kind of don't care about the other 10 or 15%. Like, I know it'll ease out of my experience and I'm no longer like obsessed about it. So
No, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
yeah.
I loved watching your evolution. I loved watching your transformation and you just growing into yourself and seeing you right now after when I first met you. You were so bound, just in this. And it's so awesome just to see you so relaxed, so happy. You're glowing, you're excited for your life, and even though all the answers aren't there yet, which I don't think they ever are in our lifetime, like you've really stepped into who you are and what you're growing into. So I love
Yeah.
seeing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would say, it's not like I manifested millions of dollars and, am married, pregnant, and have all my horses in the backyard after 9 months. Like, a lot of the situations in my life are the same, but I'm so different. And now I'm starting to feel like because I'm so different, the things are starting to change. So yeah,
That is awesome. I love that.
I know.
But I do like our idea of, that manifestation of what we want to create in the future. But like you said, just our shift in our energy allows now that energy to come in. Or
Yeah.
before we were so rigid, we weren't able to see outside that rigidity of possibilities. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what happens for you in the future with everything.
Me too. It's also nice to know that like I don't need to make things happen. Like, yeah. So
That's cool. I'm gonna see what else. Let's see. What would you tell anyone considering this program?
Mm. So as I've said to you before, you're the real deal. That's important to know. Not that I'm too on Instagram anymore. But I feel like, well, I also, I was in school to become a counselor, therapist, and then I thought about like, well, do I want to become like an eating coach or something like that? So I just feel like it's awesome that that world exists because now you can get to people. But I think there are, the word intuitive gets thrown around a lot, and I just think it's hard to weed out like who can really help me, who really has the skills. And I think there's different levels, but for where I was on my path, I needed someone who could see what I could not see yet, or what I had glimpses of but couldn't translate maybe. And I'm just so thankful that you do have the skills to do that, and that you've taught me to start to be able to do that for myself. And it's been fun the last few sessions how like now I can start to journal and ask, my guides, my soul, like, well, something that's annoying me. And then the answer comes back, and then I would have less and less questions for you because I'm starting to be able to, access that wisdom myself. And that is so much different than, say, someone who teaches you, I don't know, this is how to manifest, or this is how to, all the things that are out there, which I think can be helpful in different realms. But again, for me, who had a lot of things that I think I needed to clear and figure out who I was before you could go and apply those things, maybe I really needed your skill set. So that's what I would definitely tell others.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then with your relationships and things like that, I'd like to go a little bit deeper with you just because I know you. And
Yeah.
how did those change? Just relationships with family, changes with boyfriend, work, because I know because you were on such that narrow thing that it was very straining to even exist with other people.
Yeah. Um, Work has been like, I went from not enjoying my job because I was so, I don't know, I just had this mindset that everything had to be so hard and so much pressure and everything. And you really like woke me up and were like, like you have a cool job, like you need to start affirming this, and everything might not be perfect, but my attitude towards that was really straining. And then changing my mindset, um, I guess probably a little over 6 months ago when you told me that, um, has made my job a lot more enjoyable, and I take less things home. And this past couple weeks have been super stressful as we've had to let people go, pretty high level leaders go. And that is we live in a small community. It's very stressful. It's dramatic. It runs through the staff. And just to be like, I'm so solid, and I'm just not affected by working with people in the way that I would have been before, and all the emotional dynamics that can go on in a workplace. And yeah, I'm really separated from that, which I think has been a huge stress reliever. And I've noticed that it requires less work now. That's the other thing too, because at the beginning of this, I would really have to be like, violet flame, violet flame. Why am I taking on all this stuff? And now yeah, I'm definitely not caring as much of other people's blah blah as I was. Um, Relationship wise, I've become less psychotic about trying to find my husband.
I love it.
Oh, I don't know. I think getting into my 30s and wanting like marriage and children and just feeling like, like dating isn't fun at this point. It's like, where the hell are you? I'm gonna find you. And I think I just had a lot of stories about how I was terrible at dating and always dating the wrong person. And I feel like he just reminded me again and again to like enjoy the moment. And through that, I've been able to realize just like a lot of my patterns and fears and things that I always took as perfectly fine. Like, I'm the woman, of course I'm right. And then I'm like, well, just because he didn't text me good night doesn't mean like he doesn't care about me. Like, I don't that. So that's got a lot better. Yeah.
Good. And just relationships with family. I know you had, all families have their strains. They all have their
Yeah.
thing. But how is your dynamics now with your family? Is it much more open and relaxed? And
Yeah. I definitely think he helped me work through a lot of my control and fear stuff that came from my mother. And it just feels good to be like I feel like I don't have like I've done the work on my childhood. I don't think there's a whole lot really running me anymore. And I'm sure it pops up as you get different triggers, but it was really cool, like inner child work and childhood work is very popular in the healing communities, in the psychotherapy community. But I feel like your work and the stuff you teach us, like, you get to be done with it, like, oh, here I am in my 50s and this is because my mother, blah, blah, blah. Like, you really kind of can work through the bulk majority of it and not have to keep revisiting it. So I like that. The other thing is that I just feel like I had a certain trauma that, wasn't even really the reason that I came to work with you. I thought maybe it was related to my digestive issues, and regarding some visions that I had started having in my 20s when I was smoking marijuana. And I had carried a lot of guilt and shame around that. And I had seen other, I'd gone to therapists and they couldn't help me. I've done the thing where like you actually kind of intimidate or scare the therapist with your shit because, they've never heard anything like that. And you were able to show me what was really going on. And I don't think anyone except someone with your skill set could have really helped me with that. And it was so shame reducing, and I'll be forever grateful for you for freeing me from that. And I think that's something to keep in mind too for anyone who has any sort of trauma, sexual trauma, just shit that they think that they can't overcome. Like, you've been doing this work a long time. You've seen all sorts of crazy shit, like, and you're channeling, you're connected to something bigger, and you're not going to be scared. You're not going to shame anyone. Because you held some shit for me. So
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
And it's always hard when we go through the program too, because it's like we do have to face our shit and our demons or whatever you want to call it, or closet of crap, and I know there was sessions that were intense for you, and in sessions that you didn't leave all peaches and rainbows. It was like, oh, this is heavy. This is hard, but you work through them. And the big thing with me working with you as a client and any of my clients is you have to choose to do the work. I can tell you the truth. You're going to be like, fuck you. I don't want to hear this and want to run from it.
Yeah.
But you chose to go, I'm worth this, and I'm worth experiencing, experimenting, getting, and moving on to move it forward, versus shutting down, that you could have easily just shut down and said, I can't do this anymore with you. I'm out. So there's a big pat on your own back of the courage that you chose to follow through with this program and continue it till the end. And so definitely that's beautiful for you, because now you're in your own power, which before you were running on so many different programs that you weren't able to be in your own power at all, so
I do feel like new, and like I feel less and less like I have to manufacture my well-being, like wake up in the morning, I'm going to journal, I'm going to meditate, and then I'll be in a mildly good mood. Yeah, I definitely feel lighter just in general. So
yay. Well, congratulations on all that. And, even after the program, you've been implementing and still off and on working with me. And how is that, even after the program, months later, is information from the program still helping you out in the sense of kind of, oh, I get this piece now and you're implementing it now, where before maybe you weren't quite ready? Or how has it been working for you on that level?
yeah, well, I think it is a matter of practice, and it's not, you don't give it doable. You can do it in an instant. But now that I've been doing it for a while, it's becoming more and more effective. And like, I'm starting to dream again. I used to never dream. I have been sober 52 days, I think, today.
Yay.
Like, my birthday's next month, so I'll have a glass of wine or something. But just like, I realize that it interferes with my ability to get those answers for myself. But I did that with ease. I didn't white knuckle that, it's been simple. And yeah, definitely the journaling and being able to get those answers, and also just not even ask the questions I would have asked you, 6 months ago, because I'm not trying to most days I'm not trying to control life, too much.
And I just want to let the audience know too that you were never an alcoholic. It was just, you live in a ski town, mountain town. That's what people do in the evenings for fun.
Yeah.
But there's no aspect to me that was an alcoholic. So I just want to make sure the clients understand that piece.
Before, I'd clean that one up pretty good. I was definitely
but even just in a little bit about, your alcohol consumption, you're noticing a huge shift within you too. So, because you're not being numbed out anymore.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So yeah.
This is awesome. Thank you so much for just your time and, being vulnerable and getting your information out there to others. And hopefully this will help them to, understand that my work is real, that this isn't going to also be where I'm going to give you the magic pill, or you're going to always walk away happy after working with me, because you got to work through your stuff, and I'm putting the power in your hands versus I'm not taking your power away. And
I think it's just like very powerful, subtle shifts kind of. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next few months. So, and I'm excited. I hope, that you get to reach more people, and I don't know, we can get more people out of their misery and really living aligned lives. So
love it. Well, thank you, Katie, so much for your time. I appreciate you, and congratulations for you just doing the transformation that you've needed and wanted for yourself. So
yeah, feels good. Thank you.
I'm going to hit stop somewhere here. Cool.